All right. Thank you for joining me. We're going to have story time with Mr. Doobie today. I'm going to share with you 5 selections of inspiration. I'm going to just display them on the screen as you can see here, and I'm going to just read them to you. And all I want you to do is think about them and just be prepared to have a conversation about maybe your favorite one or even each story, okay? So all you have to do, you don't have to write anything down. There's no assignment. I just want you to listen to the words and enjoy. And hopefully one of these or all of them will speak to you a little bit and give you some inspiration, teach you a lesson. And we will discuss these very soon. All right, so the first one, let's get started. In ancient times, a king had his men place a boulder on a roadway. He then hid in the bushes and watched to see if anyone would move the boulder out of the way. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers passed by and simply walked around it. Many people blamed the king for not keeping the roads clear, but none of them did anything about getting the stone removed. One day a peasant came along carrying vegetables. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to push the stone out of the way. After much pushing and straining, he finally managed. After the peasant went back to pick up his vegetables, he noticed a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. The purse contained many gold coins and a note from the king that explained that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the road. All right, moving on to our next selection. It says, stop wasting your time complaining. People visit a wise man complaining about the same problems over and over again. One day he decided to tell them a joke, and they all roared with laughter. And after a few minutes, he told the same joke, and only a few of them smiled. Then he told the same joke for a third time, but no one laughed or smiled anymore. The wise man smiled and said, "You can't laugh at the same joke over and over, so why are you always crying about the same problem?" Okay, moving on to our third selection. And this might be, I don't want to say it's one of my favorites. They're all pretty good, but let's just go into it. A popular speaker started off a seminar by holding up a $20 bill. A crowd of 200 had gathered to hear him speak, and he asked, "Who would like this $20 bill?" 200 hands went up. He said, "I'm going to give this $20 to one of you, but first let me do this." And he crumpled the bill up. He then asked who still wants it, and all 200 hands were still raised. "Well," he replied, "what if I do this?" Then he dropped the bill on the ground and stomped on it with his shoes. He picked it up and he showed it to the crowd. The bill was all crumpled and dirty. "Now who still wants it?" All the hands went up still. My friends, I have just showed you a very important lesson. No matter what I did to the money, you still wanted it because it did not decrease in value. It was still worth $20. Many times in our lives, life crumples us and grinds us into the dirt. We make bad decisions or deal with poor circumstances, and we feel worthless. But no matter what has happened or what will happen, you will never lose your value. You are special. Don't ever forget it. All right, moving on. A 24-year-old boy, 24-year-old boy seeing out from the train's window shouted, "Dad, look at the trees are going behind." His dad smiled, and a young couple sitting nearby looked at the 24-year-old's childish behavior with pity. Suddenly he again exclaimed, Dad, look at the clouds are running with us." And the couple couldn't resist and said to the old man, "Why don't you take your son to a good doctor?" The old man smiled and said, "I did, and we are just coming from the hospital. My son was blind from birth, and he just got his eyes today." Every single person on the planet has a story. Don't judge people before you truly know them. The truth might surprise you. All right, we're moving on to our very last selection. Okay, once again, just give these a listen and be ready to talk about which one you really liked. All right. Stop Chasing Happiness is the name of our last selection for the day. So here it is. An old man lived in the village. The whole village was tired of him. He was always gloomy. He constantly complained and was always in a bad mood. And the longer he lived, the viler he became, and more poisonous were his words. People did their best to avoid him because his misfortune was contagious. He created the feelings of unhappiness in others. But one day, when he turned 80, an incredible thing happened. Instantly, everyone started hearing the rumor. The old man is happy today. He doesn't complain about anything, smiles, and even his face is freshened up. The whole village gathered around the man and asked him, "What happened to you?" The old man replied, "Nothing special. 80 years I've been chasing happiness, and it was useless. And then I decided to live without happiness and just enjoy life. That's why I'm happy now." All right, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed those 5 stories. Just be ready to talk about them next time I see you. All right, signing off.